We have a lot to go over. Highs and lows from this one as the Kings try to get back on track on Wednesday night. I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. How you doing, Mo?
I'm great. No one can pop my joy bubble.
You've got it.
I got a joy bubble.
What's a joy bubble?
It's just a force field of joy surrounding me, and you. Nope. Yep. How does that feel? Stupid.
I can't get through it at this point in time.
Because it's a joy bubble.
Why do you have a joy bubble? Why do you have a joy bubble?
I have this joy bubble surrounding me. I've had it ever since before Thanksgiving because I was just like, I want to make sure, like, with family and everything, like, everyone's just happy. I'm just going to put this joy around me. And then with some of these Kings losses that you and I have now covered together, the last 3, and one has really stood out to me as the most frustrating, and that was the Celtics loss. And then they're back home tonight against the Suns. I'm not frustrated. There are so many things I can point out that I wish were better, but at the same time, I am so happy about so many good things that I saw tonight that I'm just like, I'm kind of like Malik Monk after the game. His energy post-game was just like positive vibes. Like, yeah, look what we can do. Look what type of team we can be. That's how good we saw when we were on that 7-game winning streak. We can be that, and now we believe that.
You mentioned Malik Monk, and here's what he had to say after the game. That's what Morgan's referencing.
How do you stop this 3-game slide from being 4 or 5, etc.?
Don't get down. Don't get down on yourself. Don't look down. Don't point the finger. And just come together a little. Just make us a little closer. I'm not going to let us separate. I take a big part in that, man. I take a big part of not letting us separate. So, yeah, we'll be all right. We good.
Okay.
Mood. Hashtag mood.
Here's Domas Sabonis after the Kings' loss to the Phoenix Suns.
Domas, you guys have battled really, really well against some of the best teams in the league and come up just short. Just how close do you guys feel you are? And, again, this was like the 3rd loss in a row, but it doesn't feel like that for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel that way, but we definitely have to change that. We can't keep losing and saying, we're almost there. There has to be a point where we got to finish the game, And the good thing is we know we're right there. So we just got to do these little things, and we'll get over the hump.
That's how I feel.
And that's fair. I mean, there's definitely some things that you could point to tonight that I think really hurt Sacramento. One being Devin Booker. And that guy was unbelievable tonight. He got it going early. He got to all of his spots. Then late when the Kings were throwing different looks at him, trying to make life more challenging, he was maybe hitting tough shots, or the Kings were overcompensating and leaving shooters like Damian Lee open for big-time three-pointers, but they still found ways to make it competitive at the end. I think the other thing tonight is this is a 3rd straight game where De'Aaron Fox has not played well, and tonight was not a good game for De'Aaron Fox. I know after the game, Mike Brown was asked, like, hey, is he nicked up? Is he dealing with anything? Mike Brown kind of deflected, saying, well, everyone's kind of nicked up right now. What are you seeing with De'Aaron Fox, or what did you see with him tonight?
Yeah, I felt that same way, though, where it was like whatever it was, whether he looked a little banged up, it looked like it was affecting his game and his intensity. I don't see it as like an effort thing, because how could you not feel the energy of that entire team for most of this game, from Domas Sabonis, throwing it down to Malik Monk, adding that spark off the bench. So I don't believe it was anything like that, but truly something physical. Now, we've seen through some of these times, through some of these years, how something with De'Aaron Fox's physical health can really affect his game, because his game is really dependent on his speed, his athletic ability. He's added so much more skill to his game, but there's still so much of that still goes into, like, for example, you saw late in this one, his jump shot that was just short in the paint. That's what we saw a lot last year. So when you see that, it's a little bit triggering, but at the same time, I'm not worried, but I'm more worried about what's going on physically.
He had 11 points on 4 of 12 shooting, 1 of 3 from downtown, 2 of 2 from the line, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He also had 3 blocks in this one, which is pretty insane. But his plus minus was minus 16 in this one. After the game, James Ham put out some audio from De'Aaron Fox, who said he was not happy about his performance tonight.
Those are the things that we can't control.
What were they doing something against you, or was that more just shots not falling tonight? What was kind of?
Oh no, just a bad game.
Bad game. Did you feel like? How much do you feel like your presence was missed tonight in that end?
I mean, we lost by 4 or 5, and I didn't play well at all. So.
Where are you at physically? It looks like you're a little beat up. Is it just all the minutes catching up to you a little bit?
Oh no, just little minor things here and there, but we play a lot of games every year, so you play through those.
What are your personal frustrations? You just mentioned you lost by 5 and you felt like you didn't really show up the way you wanted to. How does it make you feel?
You try to put this one in your back pocket and keep going. Obviously, you're not going to play well every game, but you can do a lot better than I did tonight.
How about the effort against Booker tonight? Obviously, you had some easy ones, but then there were some ones that were almost unguardable.
Yeah, when a guy like that gets it going, it's almost impossible to stop. So you just try to continue to make it tough for him.
Do you have a sense of how if this team is built differently than like in the past, where 3 games becomes 5 or 6 or 8 a couple of times, and do you feel like you guys are better equipped to prevent that?
Yeah, we've done it this year, so I don't see a reason why we can't do it again. We played good teams. We've lost some games that we were in. That's hats off to who beat us. But for us, we go back in, you go to practice, you get back together, you go out to the next game like nothing ever happened.
Well, what do you do, maybe personally, to avoid pressing in situations where you maybe have a few games in a row where you're not playing up to the standard you set for yourself?
I just go out there and continue to play the way I play. Never think about pressing.
De'Aaron, it seemed like you guys made a concerted effort to get Keegan going early in this one. Did you feel that?
Oh yeah, just try to get him some easy buckets. Like I said, just being able to see the ball go through the net, I feel like does wonders for your confidence.
So there's a part of De'Aaron Fox after the game talking to the media, saying, yeah, he's dealing with a couple of things, I guess.
It's Deuce. You know what it is too. It's just like anything with this game. How do you grow off of a loss? How do you grow when you look at the Boston Celtics last year, and really a big part of it was conditioning for them. Okay, so how do you grow from that? You condition more. Okay, when injuries come along and they screw up your game here and there within your legs or whatever it is, how do you grow to find a new way to make sure that you are contributing and making an impact with your team? That's all he has to do, is really learn and grow how else he can impact the squad if things are a little banged up with his body.
Yeah, and I don't know. Hopefully he can feel better soon, right? Because you don't want something that's minor if whatever's going on. We're speculating here, right? We have no idea.
Speculation.
You don't want it to turn into an injury and be a long-term thing, right? The guy had a bone bruise, missed a game, came back. So I don't know if there's all this stuff that's still lingering and he's battling through some stuff. Also, I think the perspective we have to have is a guy's allowed to have a few bad games. The biggest thing is you don't let it get to 5 or 6 or 7 or what we saw last year when we were searching here after 10 games of a season going, what's going on with Fox? I don't think that's the case. I think he'll be all right. I think he'll bounce back. And, you just played a tough road trip where you come home and you take on the team that right now is the best team in the Western Conference, the Phoenix Suns. And
after playing the best team in the East.
Yeah, and I know some that they don't have Chris Paul or Cam Johnson. Yeah, they've put it together now. You know what I mean? They're now 7-3 without CP3 this season. Cameron Payne's been really good for them at times during that stretch. They're top 5 in offensive rating and defensive rating. And I think you saw what they were able to do at times defensively in this game to take Sacramento out of their game.
Yep.
The one thing that jumped out to me tonight, just with the Kings, and especially jumped out to me late, because they had a lineup out there that was Mitchell, Monk, Herter, HB, and Sabonis in the fourth quarter. And they're in a tough spot because Malik Monk's cooking. But they need Mitchell out there to defend Booker. But they also want De'Aaron Fox out there. So at one point, they did take Monk out of the game, and Monk's looking at him going like, what? I'm cooking. But he ends up putting him back in 20 seconds later. But again, it just jumps out to me, and it's not even. I give Davion Mitchell a lot of credit. That guy lost his ass trying to get into Booker late. I mean, he was up in him.
Standing ovations, by the way, for his defensive ability tonight.
Amazing. The problem is he's 6 foot. And that's your best option right now defensively on Devin Booker. And you could play perfect defense. But Devin Booker, because of how talented he is, even if you've got some size, he can hit a bucket. But when you're 6 foot and he could shoot over you, that's tough. That makes life really challenging.
Can I just say this, though? Devin Booker is going to do that on so many different guys. And what did happen, though, and just to give him a little bit more love and credit, is that it disrupted their entire offense for that little bit. It disrupted Devin Booker's vision for that little bit in what he wanted to create sometimes in the offense. It made life harder for him. But you're right. It didn't stop him completely.
Yeah, and that's my whole point. Yeah, you're right. The great ones can make plays no matter what. I mean, I even saw when Keegan got switched on him once. I thought Keegan played some nice defense. There was a contest in the corner, and Booker made the shot. Yep. Booker's jumper looks so much like Kobe's, especially when he's getting into the spots in the mid-range.
Nasty.
It's disgusting.
But that's why with this loss, I believe and feel like this team has the right leader overall and then the right pieces overall with the right mindset to understand what they want as their final goal. And that final goal doesn't just happen overnight. It depends on how they respond. I would just say my big positive was I want to make it more broad, but I'll just go with this guy, individual, Malik Monk, and just his ability to get into the paint and create things, especially when they needed it most, especially when outside shots weren't falling. It was so fun in texting my family chat and just being like, holy shit, Monk, and in the way that he's playing. That fun feeling, Deuce, I felt like I'm sitting in the media section like a fan trying to close my eyes on the final Suns possession when Torrey Craig ended up getting that free throw or getting that rebound. But it was such a fun feeling of nervousness and anxiousness and all these things. It was just great to feel that again.
I just love the energy Malik Monk comes in with, attacking.
Yep.
You feel it in the arena when he goes strong to the basket. There's oohs and ahs. He had that one crossover that got oohs and ahs from the crowd. He brings so much life to not only the fan base, but the team. He's always liable for a couple of those plays. You're like, don't do that. But his energy and passion, and it's not just, I'm going to come in and get buckets. He can do that. He can absolutely get you buckets. He can get hot, knock down a three. He can dunk. He's going to provide a spark. But he wants to be a playmaker. He wants to set guys up. Mm-hmm. And that, to me, is what makes him such a fun player to watch, but also probably to play with.
I would say him finding so much joy in playing basketball, and you see that from a lot of these guys, even when they lose games like this. You see those moments from Sabonis when he's smiling when another guy makes a shot or he gets a pass from a teammate and he throws it down. Like, the joy that this team is playing with is contagious, and I feel like it's being spread everywhere, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's part of my joy bubble. It is invited.
Huge bright spot. And that was a fun game to watch. The result wasn't the best, but it was a fun game.
I agree.
Two teams going back and forth. Some fun offense
Give me some
at times.
good basketball. Let me finish that one with a win for the Sacramento Kings, but that will happen. That will happen, and this is a great place to start.